Hey folks, today I'm going to be going from Seyda Neen all the way through across the landscape, picking some mushrooms to Balmora, familiar place to many of Morrowind. Probably looking to start off with the Mages Guild, just here. Probably stopping off by Thastus first and seeing how things go from there. A lot of people are quite familiar with the start of Morrowind, so I'm going to be snapping this a little bit faster from now on, at least for the initial parts. Now, thinking of an orcish character, Rebeka, gra'Maak, perhaps raised by humans, and then a little bit light-fingered along the way. It's been picked up, as per the story, taken to Morrowind under the orders of the Emperor from jail, and is going to now make her life in Morrowind. Obviously there's a couple of things, mods, such as the better balanced combat, and we're going to be making a custom class. It's an artifact finder. It is definitely not assassin. It is definitely not one or two skills away from being a pure assassin type. So it is definitely artifact finder. I'm told it's a really good idea just to use this as a opportunity to put in what you're wanting to do with your character. A little reminder that you're going into the world, rescuing artifacts, dominating the world, potentially joining a couple of guilds along the way. Probably want to grab a whole bunch of books along the way too. But I do want to set up a home. Get friendly with locals. World domination. You can see that this also has a bunch of modded abilities added into this, and one of the interesting mods that I've added in is the ability for NPCs to use their star signs, their 0 level powers against me. So you may later on see a flurry of these sanctuary spells from Dunmer, making them much harder to hit, through to all sorts of things. So standard story. So handing over our papers, being told about Thastus and Balmora, and now doing much faster again the initial quests around Seyda Neen, getting involved with the quest around Fargoth and Fargoth's ring, getting myself a little bit of equipment here, which I have completely forgotten to actually put on, which is always a bad thing. So, find Fargoth's hidden location at night. Now, Aloni is someone I'm going to come back to later on, because she's actually part of the Blades. Now, you may have seen that there's a couple of extra NPCs in town, such as the one that just kind of teleported in. That's kind of cool. I'm just going to wander around and collecting up ingredients along the way. You'll see a bunch of mushrooms and flowers in particular. And you'll see that I've got a combat mod installed, which makes combat a little bit more brutal, actually. Makes it easier to hit. Yeah, Taxman. Gotta do that, Taxman. Easier to hit, but also easier to be hit as well. Even from some of the smaller creatures. Gotta love those prices. Always around and they're always attacking you. I've changed it so it's only blighted ones and it's a little bit less often, but that's okay. But this is my first dungeon. Gonna run in, gonna encounter my first ghost and flee like hell because my weapon has no effect. That's not so good. I need to find a better weapon. And you can see that my health is already starting to take a hammer. You'd almost say it was useful. Bit of armor. It's another little cave tomb there. Fortunately, we still don't have a nice weapon. So let's keep exploring around here and see what else is going on. Another classic one, it's the flying mage who's got himself a couple of scrolls of I can jump really, really high and I don't have a way of landing. Now, this is my first magical weapon. It's a two-handed hammer axe type thing, so I think let's wander into this ancestral tomb. Now, this will be my first artifact that I will be hunting down. And in here, I might actually be able to survive a little bit longer against the things that are in here. And it's rather dark, and I need to check out what my lighting that I can do for this is. There's a nice couple of things. Oh, courage. There's also bones and this. And the sword's magical, so we can kill off the ancestor spirits a lot easier. Now I already know that I've been hit by, I think it's burden, at the very least by the ghost, so it's already starting to become a little bit harder, even just starting off here. And I'm already kind of at half health, which is not great. So yeah, there's a lot of bone meal, which is kind of useful. Do a lot of running. Let's check these ones too. So Hellfire. Yes, please. Curry dragon. Oh, I am starting to learn how to read that bit, but it's a slow process. Oh, we've got another ghost. Let's see if I can get to come to me. Nice. Right back here we've got 45 health. It's not bad. Okay, so this is Lord Bride trapped. Okay, let's see if there's a key around here somewhere maybe. I'm not too sure how an urn might be trapped. I need to open up and get the tool out for the job. Thankfully we picked up the lockpick from Seyda Neen from the starting line. Ring. No, that's not going to help. Okay, so I don't actually have a probe to unlock this, and I'm on half health, and there's nothing behind it. Solid. Okay, so let's take a risk. And you can see I've got all sorts of okay, 16 health. 16 health of damage. Maybe I've got like a potion that is appropriate to work here. No. That seems to have worked. 2 HP. Okay, that seems to have worked. It's a good thing that we purchased that healing spell back at town from the tavern. Don't really have anything to... And that little thing there is the Mentor's Ring. Constant effect, a little bit of intelligence and willpower. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my first artifact. And of course, once I get a home of my own, I will... Well, I'll probably wear it for a long time, actually. But I will display these kinds of things. I'm not going to be harmed by anything here, so let's just get out for now. From here I can start using a bit of magic, spamming up here and getting back into it. And of course, as I said, first thing you encounter is all the animals out here that want to get at you. It's so satisfying to actually beat this area now that I've actually got a weapon that can hit those bloody ghosts. And you see I've got those magical effects on, another mod, makes it very nice when you get hit by something. You actually see kind of what spell's being attacked at you rather than just randomly the same thing. And yeah, fish are pretty brutal because they can hit you. So, healing. Holy shit. Being attacked from behind. Really not good. Okay. Not going any further. Get some healing. Jesus. Okay, it is getting closer to sunset. So, back to the Taxman. Let's get back to the taxation office. And hand that back in. And, oh, I don't have the money anymore. I don't know what happened to that. I'm pretty sure I picked it up. Did I get hit by something that destroyed some of my money? I'm sure I didn't spend it. Okay, let's take a detour back to the inn and just sell some of my stuff. I probably don't need any of the two-handed stuff. There's a bit of old clothing maybe. Just a couple of these that I've picked up along the way. Some of the fortify stuff and the water breathing I'm not so interested in. I'm probably going to pick up the alteration spells for it anyway, so change that to cash. Let's give that to him. Okay, cool. So he wants us to actually find the murderer. Yeah, okay, so the lighthouse manager may have been gotten involved with him as well. And it seems that there might have been a bit of jealousy going on between him and a local Dunmer. So, ooh, book, yoink. Beautiful sunset there. And what we're going to do is camp out here for a little while. And just, watch what's going on. So, there's something... No, I think that's actually a bat. I don't know why it kind of had magical circling, but there was a bat. Anyway, we can see the people down below, and we can see that a lot of them picked up torches and whatnot. And I've really got to have a night eye spell, or sort out what my... Oh, there we go, Fargoth. Where is he going? Kind of circling around. He's going into that pond. Of course, experienced Morrowind players already know. He's in the middle of the pond. There is a stump, and a lot of these stumps sometimes have little bits of treasure hidden in them. So if you jump up onto this stump, there's a warrant. Very nice. He's gotten stuck, but let's nab that stuff. Now, this is the Dunma arrival of the Taxman. I'm gonna send him in, and he doesn't like that, so it's bit of biffo. That's her ring. It's, you know, it's unique. I might return it to her later. But first, we go back to the Taxman, get a modest reward for that, which is all the worth of handing the Taxman's money back. Sell off some of the 200 stuff because I really am not going to be using it. I'm going more for a one-handed light armor. Pick up a little bit more of the spell side of things, and let's go on to our first dungeon. Most people are familiar with this particular dungeon, so I'm going to speed through this one as well. Seems there's a lot of bandits here, and if you come up here, there are slaves, and that lady at the very start was holding the slave key, so letting them go. There's little quests and things later. Brutal. Now she's got throwing daggers, he was casting spells. You can see there was a couple of different lights that were going on there because he was doing damaging spells and he was doing things to weigh me down and burden me. And they don't really have much on them, but there is certainly stuff in there in the boxes, and they've got some moon sugar, which is narcotics. Here's the good moon sugar. There's a couple of little secret places you can swim around. Let's go. Don't go use it as a decoration or something later on. Who knows? Okay. Bloody hell, the rats and things just sneak up from behind you. It's really not good. And of course I don't have anything that kind of detects that kind of thing. And convenient little way back to the start. So at this stage, let's make it daylight because walking around at night time is absolutely god-awful. Beautiful sunrise and god rays thanks to the Morrowind script engine and graphics extender modules. You can see that we can see Pelagade due to the far rendering of the game. There are plenty of berries and flowers to pick up throughout here, which will come in later on for people who know about it. And of course, if you have a quick look over here, beautiful lakeside. Yeah, okay. Beautiful lakeside flowers and views, and you can see some things in the distance, towers and forts. I think you can even see Vivek from here. See if there's any pearls in the clams. Kind of running past all the little quests and bits and pieces. I'm kind of just wanting to get to Balmora fairly quickly because that's where most of the happenings happen. It's the next place in the initial quest. I'll just skip the people, skip the little side dungeons, the egg mines, the larger animals that are hanging out on the edges. Balmora this way. And this is the Caldera. That's one of the dwarven fortresses. We've got Moonmoth Legion Fort. Obviously Legion being the mainland religious cult, I suppose you could say, rather than the religious cult of the Divines on Morrowind, on CV. And Balmora. Beautiful Balmora. Welcome. So, eventually we'll come back to the Mages Guild. First, let's step up through the lush green grass of the abandoned backlines, and our favourite skooma addict, Thastus.
Stay out of trouble and you won't get hurt.
Moonshine. Sorry, moon sugar. Yeah, skooma problem. Moon sugar gets refined into skooma. So when you report to him, you give over the package, and he inducts you into the Blades. From there, he gives you a couple of opportunities to talk to the trainers that he knows about, and a place to start off the game in. Again, I'm going to talk to Alone later. She's in Seyda Neen. There's a couple of other ones here. There's a warrior, I think there's a thief, there's a mage. There's a couple of them based just in Balmora here. Like those three. That one's a Nightblade, which will be good for doing more of the sneaking and attacking and magic all at once. And the mage in Caldera the city, which is a little bit further up from where we are, and actually based within one of those kind of magma caldera smushy looking places. So the initial orders from Chaos is to start off So initially he's telling us to find a cover, gives us some money, get a cover, do some work. Later on he'll have some work for us. And yeah, this is right up my alley at the moment, because yeah, let's go find the Mages Guild. A lot of the stuff's owned, so I'm not going to be light fingering a lot of that, but it's always good to check, you know, just to see what's on the shelves for later, you know. You never know what happens. So one thing that I do when I'm watching YouTubers is sometimes running these kinds of videos at 1.5 times, just so not so much to absorb the content much faster, but sometimes picking up the pace and making it a little bit more bubbly. Certainly have no problem with that. Certainly recommended in sometimes, especially when you're watching educational videos. Sometimes you might learn something and then you slow it down and replay just that spot that you particularly wanted. So feel free to speed things up. Flick through to a later spot. So one of the things, as well as the mushrooms and flowers, kind of looking around, I don't think I'm going to find it in crates so much, other than kind of ingredients, but there's a trader here. I'm going to pick up a bowl. That may sound a little bit strange as a thing to pick up.
It comes near. What does it want?
Now this Khajiit sells Daedric weapons, or so he says. What he's actually selling is weapons that allow you to cast a summoning spell to get a Daedric weapon, which is kind of the same thing, but it takes an extra action to cast the Bound Dagger or whatever spell that you actually need. Now, our inventories have a lot of extra buttons to sort things that are of type, but also the things that are actually tradable, so it becomes quite easy to be able to go, I just want to see the things that he will actually accept. I need a ceramic bowl? Ceramic. ceramic bowl. Control click, I think, just does the one at a time. It's part of the code patch to make things a little bit easier. I've sold him moon sugar because Khajiit, they love their moon sugar. And you'll see them reference sharing sugar with people occasionally. So, yeah, just have a kind of look through their wares, because I'm going to probably get to know this particular Khajiit fairly well if they can buy and sell slightly dodgier things. I'm just topping up some of the armor that I might not have at the moment. Some of the things that this one has, candles, is something I might pick up later. And definitely some people carry different ingredients, which could be quite interesting later on. Tools would be typically your lockpicks and bits and pieces. I definitely was wanting to pick up some pants, light armor pants that I don't have. And sometimes the clothing you can wear under your armor in general, and of course you can enchant every single piece of item, and every little bit helps. Now I do like framing the shots because I've got a nice mod that helps with yeah, Fort Moonmoth is a mod, official mod. Yes, I'd like to join. I've got a nice faces mod and hair mod, which makes things a little bit more modern. Got some
I'm waiting.
Bowl of nuts? Crab meat? No, random. Obviously she'd sit down and just does that. Now, being part of the Mages Guild, you get a bunch of freebies. Don't mind if I do. It's especially things like the lesser soul gems and potions. Yeah, let's just grab the whole lot. That chest was locked. You can see there's a couple of things like a notice board, and there's a door just behind the, just to the left there, and just to the left here. Again, another mod that kind of expands the guild a little bit more.
What assistance do you need?
I'm going to her to do a little bit of spell making, and of course one of the first spells that I tend to make is something that's a little bit easier to cast rather than the slightly wilder magic that we got from Elvenfriend and Seyda Neen. And to make a very consistent, very cheap restore health. And you see up to the top right, the cost, the point cost, has that kind of sweet spot at about 10 hit points. It also makes the spell chance based on it a bit easier too. So now I've got this slightly easier spell that I can restore 10 hit points at a time. Now, I have been looking around, and one of the things I need, levitate. Especially with the Talvana, I need the levitate. Get into those kind of secret areas and bits and pieces. A couple of these guys have all sorts of interesting spells. Water walking probably is also quite useful. It's kind of nice to just kind of touch base with a few of these people. Ajira, sitting in the shadows. Now, she's the one that we've been told to check in with the duties, and thankfully, I've already been picking some mushrooms. Well, that's quite useful. Oh, yes I do. Here, have some mushrooms. Oh, you've got a bit. Okay, so this is one of the fun little ones. Galbadier's going to wander downstairs to talk to the mage that just sold us the levitate spell. And while she's busy with him, we're going to be a little bit sneaky and do some stuff at her desk. So obviously we're going to swap this one in. But while we're here, I mean, surely she won't necessarily notice that some other stuff had gone. I mean, anyone could have done that. Obviously there's one in the desk and that one's still perfectly fine. Right? Right. These other things are a little bit harder to get into in the meantime. But there's some nice ingredients in here. And again, they're all totally legit. This is all, you know, free-for-all mage stuff. Yoink. Not being, eggs, yum. Not being, disrespectful to the guild in the slightest.
Anytime now.
Flowers. Oh, a whole bunch of flowers. Funny enough, from that lake that we wandered past just a little bit earlier. Oh, ceramic bowl. Oh, yes. Ah, just happened to have it here. Now, yes, Galbadier's stolen some reports.
Useless creatures.
Yeah, Galbadier. You. So, where could she have put them?
I will listen, Outlander, but make it quick.
Ton of interesting
Where is that
things there.
slave?
How about... Aha, there's one of them, flower report. We're going to have to talk to this orc a little later. She's got some interesting backstory I have a feeling of. Can't access these doors. Yes, filthy, treacherous government. Right. I didn't feel like that. Never mind. Moving right along. I'm going to be fixing that in a moment. Anyhow, let's have a look over here again and there we go. So let's wander back to Ajira, finish this little one off, and I think for now that's all that
Let's hear it.
we're doing with her. Come back when you are a warlock. Uranus may have some stuff, but I doubt that. Edwina might, in Aldrone. Now this is actually kind of as far as I've gotten with the mages. I've done maybe one or two quests in a different area. And obviously Ajira is very nice for selling potions and ingredients too. So let's pick up things like water walking and restoring health, restoring magicka, potions of invisibility are handy. Nice eye, yep. Things like reflection and what's the other one? Shielding from magic and reflecting magic. Those can be kind of useful. Sometimes on the more expensive side of things though. Rising Force is the levitate equivalent. Because the levitate spell we've got at the moment might be a little expensive to cast. I might need to cheapen that up, make it a little bit easier to cast later on.
Our sugar is yours, friend.
Yes, your sugar is. And of course, she's the one who recommends you to get the bowl from the cashier upstairs. So, yes, sharing sugars. Very funny. And of course, just to confirm, oh yes, we can advance, yes. So we're now apprentice, journeyman, evoker, and it doesn't have more magic. We need to do more duties. So we don't have anyone else here who can give us some chores. So I think it's time to go abroad. Let's just touch base with a couple of the other ones here, just to see what spells and bits and pieces that they've got here. Open door. Very tempting. Yes, William. Need to get through doors at some stage.
I'm listening, please. Go ahead.
So, let's check what she's got as well. Now, Soul Trap's a very useful spell for making your soul gems and recharging things. Let's jump over to Wolverine Hall to Sadrith Mora. Again, I've got a little mod that tweaks things a little bit. Let's just heal it all. So it makes this room a little bit nicer. Can we get Judy's
Greetings.
from this
What
one?
exactly do you require of me?
I think Skink is a much higher
Go ahead.
level.
Speak.
Here's the yeah, he's kind of the leader here, so he's not going to be giving out duties to us. So this mod tweaks this guild hall so it it's a building on its own, rather than having to go up and down stairs to get in and out of the guilds in Wolverine Hall, which is quite useful. Makes things a little bit less madness getting around.
Such useless creatures.
And of course, every mage has their
Well,
specialty,
what may I
so
do?
it's always worth checking. Oh, Ariel, recognise that name from somewhere. Everyone's got their own specialty, so checking out who's got what spells. Visibility, night eye. Yeah,
May I
I'll
help
talk to her at
you?
some stage. And obviously those that make spell making, it's nice to know where they are too. Depending on how good your relationship is with the spell makers, obviously
Is there something I
makes
can
some
do
of the
for you?
spells cheaper as well. Which is why I tend to go back to Balmora for my spell making. Let's go through the bottom door.
I suppose I have a moment.
Should take us to the courtyard. That is the temple there. Behind us is the Fighters Guild. And if we wander out of Wolverine Hall, we've got... I actually have no idea. It's a little inn. I have a feeling that it may even have some Thieves Guild. But, oh, look at this. Beautiful mushrooms of Talvani, Sadrith Mora. The map should flick over any moment now. The Talvani do love their organically built. Now, one of the things I like doing is obviously ingredients and apothecaries.
I have no
and
time for you, orc.
alchemists. How rude. You're not the type I deal with. Well, that's
Why
not
do you
nice.
interrupt me?
You can see not all the mods are quite working 100% at the moment. Yeah, some of those textures are brilliant white, so they're not loading properly, which is a shame. I'll be able to fix that later. At the top, everyone's very rude around here. That's really weird. Okay, there's one more apothecary I think I remember is this one? Alchemist. I've spoken her in different games before. Their levels are so low. Well, these people are so weird. I don't know why they're so low. It must be because I'm not part of House Talvani yet. And obviously that Cedrith Mora being a Talvani house makes it quite difficult. So, this is the Guildhall of the House Talvani. I think we shall wander around and see where our fate takes us.